Your bank account says fine, your body says broke. There's money in the account, the bills are paid, yet something inside still whispers danger. You refresh the balance, the number is steady, but the unease underneath refuses to settle quietly. This is the strange ache of feeling broke when, on paper, you're actually doing okay. By the end of this, you'll understand that quiet panic and feel a little softer towards yourself. Because this isn't about your math being wrong, it's about something much older inside you. You check the app at a red light, again before bed, again first thing in the morning. Nothing has changed since last night, yet your chest tightens like the numbers might betray you. A coworker mentions a small trip, and suddenly your steady paycheck feels embarrassingly thin and fragile. You laugh along, but inside, an old familiar voice murmurs that you can't really afford anything. This is money dysmorphia, when a reflection in your account doesn't match the feeling in your gut. You can be technically fine and still walk through your day braced for sudden, invisible financial collapse. The anxiety isn't measuring dollars, it's measuring safety, and safety was learned long before adulthood arrived. Somewhere, your nervous system decided that money equals survival, and survival has never felt fully guaranteed. So even with savings, the body keeps scanning, the way it once scanned a tense childhood kitchen. You're not greedy, dramatic, or ungrateful. You're someone whose alarm system learned to never fully turn off. Think about the version of you who first understood money meant tension, arguments, or quiet, worried sighs. Maybe a parent counted change at the register. Maybe an envelope of bills sat unopened on the counter. Maybe nothing was openly said, but you felt the pressure pressing through the walls of your home. That child didn't learn budgeting. That child learned that money was the weather inside the house. And now, as an adult, you still check the forecast constantly, even on perfectly sunny financial days. The brain that grew up bracing for shortage doesn't simply stop bracing because the shortage ended. It keeps rehearsing the worst, because rehearsal once felt like the only form of protection available. So you oversave, underspend, or panic spend, all trying to soothe a feeling older than your paycheck. The number on the screen is real, but the meaning your body assigns to it is even realer. You're not reacting to today's balance. You're reacting to every uncertain moment that taught you to fear. Notice how the dread can hit even after a raise, a bonus, or a surprisingly good month. For a few hours, relief, then the floor drops back to baseline, like nothing financial actually changed. This is the hidden cruelty of money anxiety. It doesn't respond to evidence, only to felt safety. Felt safety is built in the body, not in spreadsheets, and your body still hasn't received the update. So you keep proving yourself wrong with the numbers, while the nervous system keeps writing its old story. You scroll past someone's new apartment, and a quiet shame rises before your thoughts even catch up. You weren't comparing on purpose, but the comparison happens, fast and silent, like a reflex you can't stop. Suddenly your perfectly reasonable life feels small, late, behind, even though nothing about it actually changed. That's not jealousy. That's a tired mind using strangers as evidence that you should be panicking more. We were never meant to see this many highlight reels, this many subtle financial flexes, every single day. Your scarcity feeling isn't broken, it's just being fed a constant diet of carefully curated abundance. There's also the quiet pressure of looking okay, even when something inside feels permanently unsteady. You smile at the dinner, you split the bill, you order what you wanted, but the tightness lingers. Later that night, you'll do the mental math again, recounting every dollar, trying to soothe the spike. This is the invisible labor of money anxiety, the second shift no one sees you working. It's tiring in a specific way, because the exhaustion isn't physical, it's the constant low hum of worry. You're not lazy when you feel drained. You're carrying a financial fear most people never name out loud. Notice too how spending feels charged, like every purchase is a tiny verdict on your worth or wisdom. A coffee can feel reckless one day, and reasonable the next, depending on what your nervous system whispers. This isn't inconsistency. It's a body trying to find ground on a surface that never feels quite stable. The guilt after spending isn't really about the money. It's about the fear that you slipped your guard. And the fear of slipping the guard is the fear that something bad will rush in if you do. Pause here for a moment and gently ask yourself, when did money first start feeling unsafe to you? Not the first time you worried about a bill, but the first time you felt money in your chest. Was it overheard arguments, a sudden change, a parent's tight face, or a silence that said too much? If something rises, you don't have to fix it. Just notice it. the way you'd notice an old photograph. If you feel comfortable, share one tiny memory in the comments. A sentence is enough. No details needed. Your words might be the exact thing another quiet, anxious viewer needs to feel less alone tonight. We move through this together, slowly, gently, because this part of you has been carrying weight for years. Now, let's go a little deeper, because the feeling of being broke has more layers than money alone. Underneath the number panic, there's often a quieter fear that being without money means being without love. For many of us, money got tangled with worth, with belonging, with whether we felt chosen or overlooked. So a low balance doesn't just feel financially scary. It feels like a personal failing, a private exposure. That's why a normal expense can sting so sharply, like it's saying something about who you are. But a bill is not a verdict. A balance is not a mirror. Your worth was never on that screen. There's also the fear of being seen as struggling, especially after working so hard to look stable. You don't want pity. You don't want questions, so the anxiety stays sealed behind a calm, capable face. And the more capable you appear, the lonelier the anxiety becomes, because no one knows it's even there. This is part of why feeling broke when fine is so disorienting. You can't justify it to anyone, including yourself. So the mind tries to argue with the feeling, listing facts, but the feeling doesn't speak in facts. It speaks in old impressions, in body memory, in the quiet conviction that the ground could shift any second. Arguing with it usually makes it louder. What it actually needs is to be acknowledged, gently and patiently. Imagine putting a hand on that anxious part of you and saying, I know, you're trying to protect me. Something inside softens just a little when the fear isn't fought, but finally, simply, kindly heard. That softening doesn't fix your finances. It changes your relationship to them, which is where real calm begins. Because the truth is, no number alone will ever feel like enough until safety feels like enough. You could hit every milestone, and a part of you would still scan the horizon for the next threat. That's not a flaw. That's a protector who hasn't been told the emergency is no longer happening. So the work isn't earning your way out of the feeling. It's helping the feeling realize it's safe now. Slowly, gently, in small everyday moments, the way you'd reassure a child who once lived through hard things. You might pause before opening the banking app. Take one slow breath and remind yourself, I'm okay right now. Not forever, not for the future, just right now, in this exact moment, with this exact balance, I'm okay. That sentence sounds small, but to a nervous system stuck in scarcity, it's a quiet, revolutionary kindness. You're not denying real challenges. You're separating today's reality from yesterday's leftover fear, just for a breath. Over time, those breaths add up, and the alarm starts to learn that not every moment is an emergency. The spiral doesn't disappear overnight, but it loosens, the way a tight fist slowly remembers how to open. You may still check the balance, but with less dread. You may still feel pinches, but with more perspective. You may notice the old voice arrive, and instead of obeying it, you simply, gently, thank it for caring. Because that voice was once your survival. It just doesn't have to run the whole show anymore. You get to be the calm adult in the room now, even when the inner child is convinced the sky is falling. You get to look at the numbers without letting them decide your worth, your future, or your peace. You get to feel a feeling without becoming the feeling, which is the beginning of real financial calm. And if today you only manage one breath before checking the app, that counts, that matters, that's progress. Healing money anxiety isn't a montage. It's a quiet, daily softening, mostly invisible to everyone but you. Some days you'll feel steady. Some days the old panic will sweep in, and both are part of the path. You're not failing when the fear returns. You're meeting an old visitor and slowly learning a new way to greet it. Speak to that part of you the way you wish someone had spoken to you back then, with patience and warmth. Tell it, we have more than we used to, we are safer than we used to be, and we can rest a little. Even if the rest only lasts a minute, that minute is real, and your body will remember it. Take a moment now and notice, just notice, what it would feel like to trust today's enough, just for tonight. Not forever, just tonight. Not perfectly, just gently. Not as a rule, just as a quiet, brave experiment. If something in this resonated, let me know in the comments which part felt most like your own story. Your reflection might be the small, kind mirror another anxious viewer didn't know they were looking for. If you'd like more soft, honest conversations about the feelings underneath money, consider subscribing. and turning on notifications. This channel is a quiet corner for the part of you that's tired of carrying financial fear alone. You don't have to figure everything out tonight. You only have to be a little kinder to yourself than yesterday. The number on the screen will keep changing. The worth of the person checking it never depended on it. You're not behind, not broken, not too late, not too much, not too little, not a financial failure. You are someone whose nervous system learned to fear and is now, slowly, bravely, learning how to rest. And one day, maybe sooner than you think, you'll open the app, and the breath inside you will stay soft. Until then, be gentle with the part of you that still flinches. It's been protecting you for a very long time. You're allowed to feel okay, even when the old fear says otherwise, even when nothing outside has changed yet. There's a quiet relief in realizing the panic isn't proof of failure, just proof of how much you've survived. The same instincts that once kept you alert can now learn a softer, slower rhythm, one gentle moment at a time. You don't owe anyone constant productivity, constant saving, or constant proof that you finally outrun the old fear. You're allowed to enjoy a small thing today without immediately calculating what it might cost you tomorrow. Let that be a tiny act of healing, one your younger self would have been so grateful to witness. Good night. Take a slow breath, and remember, right here, right now, in this small moment, you are safe enough.